Well, my name is Kent Guinn. I'm the mayor of Ocala, and we'll go into kind of what I do. But as far as why I do it, I'm a fifth generation Ocalan. Lived here for 66 years. My family came here back in 1850. So,
wow,
we've got some skin in the
legacy.
game, so to speak. So,
that's awesome.
But no, I just love this city. I love the people, and one of the things I told a bunch of girls and boys at Boys and Girls Club the other day, I said, you genuinely have to care about the people you serve to do this job.
Absolutely.
And it's a very humbling, job, to do.
Yeah.
And, but no, if you don't care about people, this is not the job for you.
No, I think you get burnt out really quickly.
Yeah.
But you've been doing it for a while, yeah?
Yeah, 10 years as a mayor and then 12 years as city councilman.
That's awesome.
But somebody asked me, is it hard to do? One of the little girls asked me, is it hard to do at Boys and Girls Club? I go, no. I said, it's fun, It's just you get up every day and, wonder what you're going to do. You look at your calendar and stuff, and every day is a different day.
Yeah, definitely not boring.
It's not boring, no. No.
You probably have met so many citizens here that I can't even fathom. I mean, everybody knows who you are, but you also know quite a few of them. You're very open and
sure.
Just you chat with even me. I appreciate so much that you
sure.
would let me come in here.
No, I love this.
Yeah, it's just great. It's wonderful how open you are, and you basically got like an open door policy going. I mean, it's just so great that you're open to people.
Well, and you invited me to your event when you
yes,
opened, and
yes.
I told you, I knew you were going to be successful, so I'm going to follow your success and be a part of it.
You did my grand opening at my first office when I became broker. So
right.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I was very excited about that. That was awesome. So what has you the most proud? Like everything you've been doing over the course of 10 years, what's the most proud moment or thing that you've accomplished while you've been here?
Yeah, we were just talking about that, but there's a bunch of things, but I would probably say the most creative one that we did. Well, can I give you two
yes,
quick
you can
ones?
do.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, that was the bill. It's got a picture of it on the wall where the governor signed it. It was called the Secondary Metals Recycling Act. And as many of your viewers know that when copper was $4 a pound right before the recession, you thought it can't get any worse. Mm-hmm. Well, it did. These
it got
buildings
worse.
That were abandoned and such, they would come there and their air conditioner doesn't work anymore and all the copper's ripped out of it, mm-hmm. and people were taking it to the recycling center and getting money for it. Mm-hmm. There was a gentleman that was a county commissioner, his name was Scott Boyd, in Orange County, Orlando, that came up with a local ordinance there, and we were going to replicate it here. And thankfully, the Marion County Commission said, Mayor, that's a statewide problem. It needs a statewide solution. Mm-hmm. So I walked the calls Tallahassee one year, tried to get that done, and didn't get it done that year. But next year, Larry Creedle became Speaker of the House, and we got this bill done, and it passed every committee with no objections, passed unanimously in the House and the Senate, and we got it done. But what it did was, it made it very difficult, if not impossible, for people that were doing that to get paid.
Right.
And there was only two ways they could get paid. One, electronically deposit the money into their checking account that was on file with the recycling center,
which they didn't want to share or didn't have.
Or didn't have.
Yeah.
Or mail you a check to your physical address within 3 business days. Well, that didn't work either, which they usually didn't have physical addresses.
Well, nobody that just stole a whole bunch of equipment from somebody's house is going to willingly want to give up their home address.
Well, no.
So,
but what we were finding was, the problem was a lot of it was coming from some of these homeless camps. And we would go to these camps, and then we would find all those wires and stuff cooked there, to cook the plastic off of it. And we made it a felony. So what happened was, the thefts dropped 90% in 90 days all across the state of Florida. Yeah. So, we were very fortunate to get that done. And that was just him trying to, find a creative solution to, get rid of that problem.
And it did. I mean, I can definitely vouch for that. I was doing a lot of property management, and I was actually at some points looking at cages to put the air conditioning systems in, or low jack, or I mean, just anything, because if a house went vacant for even a day or two, the AC was missing, and sometimes it was brand new air conditioning systems, and on what, for like $100 in scrap metal? It was disgusting. So, and then all of a sudden it just stopped. That was it. That was you. Okay.
So, and I always give Commissioner Boyd credit for that too. And then the other one was the synthetic marijuana. You could buy that. It's called K2, bath salts, whatever they called it. But you can buy it in the convenience store. I mean, kids can just walk in and just buy it.
At gas stations and stuff. I've seen it. Yeah.
And so we wanted to get rid of that. What would happen was, we would outlaw it, and then they would put another ingredient in there, and then it wasn't illegal anymore. And then we would outlaw that ingredient, and then they would put another one. I thought, we're losing this battle. This is never ending. And so I thought, well, what if there's a way to? We were working with General Bondi's office at the time, in Tallahassee, and I thought, let's write a local ordinance and then make it state law. So we worked with them as we were going through it, and I said, what about if there's a common ingredient in it? We can make that common ingredient illegal, so it doesn't matter how many more ingredients they put in it, that common one is illegal, and the whole thing, it stops it. So we tried that, and they said, nah, it's good idea, but there's not a common ingredient, which was kind of amazing. But so the next thing I tried, and I was going out on a limb on this, but it worked, was I said, well, what about no matter how you get it into your body, ingest it, do whatever, eat it, that if it makes you feel like this, and this, it's against the law. And they said, you know what, we can work with that.
That's awesome.
And I thought, really? And they said, yeah, we can do that, make it work, tweak it a little bit, but it'll still work. So we went up there, met with them, got it done. She came down from Tallahassee, signed it. We were at the sheriff's office, had a big meeting. A lot of people came from around the state to see that. And we got it outlawed and took it off the shelf. So we went around all, law enforcement people all over the state and said, you need to get this off your shelf, or we're going to come back and arrest you. You've got 2 weeks. And so it worked, except for one gentleman here in Ocala that didn't believe us, that spent 6 months in jail.
There's always that one Florida man. So you sent him to jail.
But he learned.
Yeah. But you were serious. Okay.
But unfortunately, it still exists, just like, a lot of drugs still exist, but it's sold on the street now. It's very, very dangerous. It always has been, but they'll put rat poison in it, they'll put fentanyl in it.
Yeah.
So you see people passed out on the side of the street, especially around some of the social service agencies, and that's what it's from.
Wow.
Many times, unfortunately, and sometimes it's real, cocaine, heroin and fentanyl, and they've overdosed and died.
Wow.
Which is sad. But so anyway, so I would probably tell you those are two of the proudest ones, so to speak, and that were the most effective. And who knows how many thousands of dollars that were saved by business owners, homeowners, that they weren't robbed. And then on the flip side of it, that other one, I don't know how many people lives weren't ruined by going in and buying that, and, especially children.
Yeah. Being able to pick it up at the gas station or a convenience store, and it's just this little pretty package, and it's absolutely deadly or damaging.
Yeah.
And I mean, the fact that a kid could walk in and buy that is crazy.
It is. Yeah.
Teenagers especially tend to try things and think they're immortal.
For sure, they were probably young kids, and this looks cute, and they would have cute little pictures of it on the package, and let's try this.
Yeah.
Looks harmless.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
That does seem to be, that's kind of an issue everywhere is, drugs and crime, it's all kind of related, and it's just, that's everywhere. That's absolutely everywhere. But a question I keep getting over and over and over again, which I am not in the position to answer, is about our crime stats.
Right.
It's like, oh, well, it's so, there's a lot of crime in Ocala. And I'm sitting here going, I live here. I know that's not the case. We have more cows than crime. I mean, what in the world?
Right.
So I don't understand, like, what's going on with the crime stats.
Well, I haven't gotten really any, like, real new numbers yet. And I told you earlier, but, when our chief had passed away right about that time, crime was down, 20%, or violent crime was down 20%. Crime all over was down, I think, about 17%, overall. So, crime's, and that's from the previous, year. So crime's going down. One of the things with the news media, the problem that we have, is you're going to see the story of, a shooting or a major, that's
right.
isolated. Those people know each other and they're feuding with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what that's about. So just the random, person that you're in your home, or you're not you're not going to be exposed to that, unless you're selling drugs or doing drugs or dealing with those
right.
type people. That's just we just don't have that crime like people are talking about. But here's a story I told you earlier, and this is a great story. So we had came in and said, yeah, look at this, it's like getting all these calls, our crime rate's just like soaring and stuff. What's this all about? And so it was some company out of Miami that was comparing our crime to Miami, saying it's terrible, and what they did was they took the crime from the entire county, Ocala, Bellevue, Dunellen, just countywide.
Almost 1,700 square miles. Yeah, sure.
And divided the Ocala population into that. So and then said that's the Ocala, crime per 1,000 people, right? So it made it look astronomical. It wasn't just Ocala's.
Yeah, that would not work.
It was the entire county.
Oh, okay.
And then said, okay, and then we're going to, do that. So
it was thousands upon thousands of houses, much less people that live outside of the city limit. I mean, like, I would say probably grand majority live outside of the city limits. So how in the world would you have the crime from the entire county versus that? That math doesn't work.
Yeah. So it made it look like it was just, off the charts.
Yeah.
So I called the folks and said, Miami Herald, and I said, look, you've got this story in there. I said, this is wrong. I said, I don't know what your deal is down there, but this isn't right. I said, was it like some kind of game or something? No, sir. Well, we don't write stories like that. This is, I don't play games. And they go, well, this one you better fix. I said, we're going to have, our city attorney call you, and, this is not going to, you got to fix this. And so anyway, he did a little research and found out, what I said was correct.
Right.
And he goes, I'm going to send me an email and say, I'm going to retract the story, which he did, and showed me that. And come to find out, the company that was behind it, was a company that sold, guess what? Security systems. And they were going to, send you emails or send you mail and your address to all these Ocala residents saying, per this, recent article in the Miami, Tribune or Miami Herald, you should buy our security system. Your city's not safe.
Greed. It boils down to greed.
Yeah. So, I called that company too, and
That's
they
disgusting.
denied that was what they were trying to do, but
Yeah.
But they did retract the article, thank goodness.
Yeah, but I mean, the article gets retracted, and of course, online at least,
Of course,
it's always the original article that's like still floating out there or whatever. Somebody uses it, and then it's like, oh, look at this article, and then they, copy it over and stuff. And,
right.
Yeah, so, that's probably a lot of where the stuff comes from, because it's like some of the stats that are actual stats, that go to the state and the FBI and stuff. I'm like sitting here going, we don't have high crime rate. Why does everybody keep asking me about our high crime rate? And that's probably where it's coming from. It's
yeah, I mean, you can take
nonsense.
numbers and do all kind of things with numbers. You know that. I
Yeah.
mean, people. You know,
Yeah.
I can make them look like whatever I want them to look like. But no, I mean, you know, if we drive around and we, you know, have nice roads, nice schools, nice homes. You know, we are able to go shopping. We're not accosted, or we're not.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know, the men and women of the Ocala Police Department, you know, work tirelessly, you know, to make sure that, you know, we have a community or city, you know, that's, you know, calm and people can enjoy, you know, doing the things they do, going out to the restaurants and being able to stand on the square and enjoy that and not have, you know, issues and problems, getting robbed or, you know, all that stuff. So yeah, I was talking to one of our officers the other day, and it was a family, you know, walking down the street, and I said, you know, because of what you do, I said, they're, you know, allowed, or they have the freedom, you know, to do that and not have to worry about, you know, anything. He goes, yeah, you know, it's like, you know, the duck, you know, pedaling in the water.
Yeah. You don't see the little feet,
and everything's calm, you know, on the lake, you know, and that's the way, you know, it kind of is. I mean, we don't see them, and I've got, you know, this radio here, and if I turned it on, there's all kind of things. That's my police radio.
Yeah.
You know, there's all kind of things that are going on in our, you know, city right now, and you know, but you don't know about them.
No.
You know, we just take care of them and deal with them, and you know, and we do that every day, 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
So if you see a police officer, you know,
say thanks.
thank them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And normally, if they're in line behind me at a Starbucks or something like that, Dunkin' Donuts,
Right.
pay for their meal. Just I got the car behind me too. Whatever their order is, just do it. It's just a small, stupid little thing,
Sure.
but it's just a thank you. You know.
Well, I did that twice. Once at one restaurant and then a Starbucks, and you know, I thought, and they were small amounts of money, and I thought, man, these guys are cheap.
I know, right?
They're not eating much. They're not drinking much coffee.
Yeah, no.
They're like, well, Mayor, if we known that, we would have ordered steak.
The whole thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, they really do work really hard, and definitely, and especially with everything that's going around the nation and stuff, they are underappreciated.
Yeah.
But it's great that we show our appreciation here,
Right.
really. So, so I don't know, what are aside from, you know, we already talked about crime stats and stuff. What are some greatest needs? Because we're growing like crazy here.
Right.
I mean, absolutely growing like crazy. So what do you think the needs are coming up or currently to kind of, I guess, counteract or prepare for the growth that's not only now but more to come?
Well, we have a tremendous shortage, as you probably know, on housing.
Yes.
Have you heard that?
Yeah, I feel it daily, hourly, minutes by minute. Yeah, I could sell 200 more houses if I had them, but you know, they're not there. So.
Well, I think I was talking to Kevin Shealy, you know, president of CEP, and he was telling me I think we're about maybe 2,200 houses short on affordable housing, and probably 5,000, you know, somewhere around that number total, you know. So and you know, our builders are just, you know, building it as fast as they can go. You know, they don't make any more property, so you know, so people are buying up property, and you know, I know one developer, you know, he's got about 10 projects going, and so we're building it as fast as we can go, but we're, you know, catching up, I guess, but we're behind. You know, one of the problems, you know, years ago when I was on city council, we would meet when it was the Economic Development Corporation. We would meet and we would try to find locations so that when a company said, yes, I'll come to Ocala, we actually had some place for them to go.
Right.
We didn't have the land. We were thinking, well, golly, you know, maybe this person will, you know, sell the land, or maybe they'll, you know, want to develop it. And like McGinley Farms down in Marion Oaks, we always looked at that property and thought,
wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't that be a great place? You know, and then now there's a 1.7 million square foot, you know, distribution center on that. So, so we have that problem now with the housing, and Kevin will tell you, when companies come to town, they will say, what kind of housing supply do you have?
Yeah.
And that's a serious question, that needs to be, answered. So we have more and more development going on. So that's a big, huge need that we have. One of the things, with the city, I mean, we issue building permits and, give certificate of occupancies and things like that. So one of the things I've always preached is, we need to look for ways to say yes to people. Our chief, Greg Graham, he used to have that as one of his 5 rules. Look for ways to say yes. We need to, sometimes government needs to get out of the way and let people do what they need to do, build houses, sell houses, and make it, a very, streamlined, easy process for people to get stuff done. I know in the past, years ago, probably not as much now, I would talk to people and they go, yeah, I was going to open a business or I was going to do such and such. I said, well, how'd it go? Well, I didn't do it. I said, because it cost this and that, and went to your city and that, and had all these hurdles, and it was just, golly, by the time I got through, I was $100,000 and haven't even broken ground.
Yeah.
So
that red tape is real expensive.
Yeah, for government to say, well, they're just undercapitalized, that's not the answer.
Right.
That's we need to get out of your way and let you get done what you need to do
some
within some kind of confines of the law. I mean, we're not going to let people build structures that are going to fall down or anything like that. But yeah, I'm very pro business, and I want to, when people come and say, hey, I got this idea, I want to bring it to your city. Come on. I'll welcome with open arms. I spoke to a guy had dinner with the other night from Argentina that's wanting to move here, buy a farm, bring a lot of his businesses up from Miami, move them here, and whatever we can do to help you out, you just let us know. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so we should be like that, and I know the CEP is
very proactive.
Very proactive, and that's why you see what you see. I think we're up to about, within the next 12 months or something like 7 million square feet of property, distribution, commercial space that's going to be developed. So
that's amazing.
Not completed, but started at least. Some of it.
It'll be there eventually. Absolutely. So I have to say that in other towns I've lived in a lot of places over the years, and I have to say normally there is some kind of it's more restrictive, like this is city and this is ours and that's county and that's theirs and you're not going to go on my turf. And we just don't seem to have that issue here. Everybody seems to be all kind of working towards the same goal, which is rare, right?
Yeah, we do. And all those commissioners, I know obviously I know all the city council members, and one of the things as mayor, people a lot of times think I'm the mayor of like the county, I mean the entire.
It's confusing,
Yeah, it's like I've got this problem and I want it fixed, and so I will call the commissioner, and we'll figure things out. And say, look, I've got one of your constituents, that's calling me, and they've got such and such a problem.
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, give them my number, and I'll go, sir, I'm going to send you to Commissioner Bryant, and you live in her district, and she's going to help you out, or I'll call their building department, and they'll take care of it. So we have a really, like you said, we have a really, really good working relationship between both the city and the county. I know that their engineering department, our engineering department work real well together, and all those things. So yeah, that's good. And you're right, a lot of counties and cities
don't have that.
Don't work like that. So we're fortunate.
We are. I think that says a lot for the residents here, because that's
absolutely
basically what it is. So what are the goals that you have as mayor, let's say, for this year or the next couple of years? What do you personally would like to see accomplished, or what are you personally doing, if you can tell me?
Yeah. Well, there's one thing I'm working on. I've got to actually call this individual and see if he's interested in doing it.
But
that one I can't tell you about.
I was thinking we were going to go down there. And,
yeah, it would be. Okay. But, like you remember when we were trying to get the Yankees, here? That was something that I really, wanted to do.
Oh, yeah.
The county wasn't able to get it on the ballot to let the people decide, what they wanted to do on it. But, that's, I wish we could have. I mean, at that time, we had a letter of intent from Bass Pro Shop wanting to come here.
Yeah.
And then, the stadium, and it would have been all in that area, that Heathbrook area. So it would have been a great stop for families
I remember that,
Yeah, to come to the game and go to Bass Pro Shop and Heathbrook, all that. So it would have been wonderful. But, there may be other, opportunities for things like that down the road.
Yeah.
So, I would just like to get, this downtown development done, and that's a continuing, project. That started in 2003. I came to, I was council president then, but really started in about 2002. And I told at the time Paul Nugent, who was, I think Susan Miller was the city manager at the time.
Yeah.
And Paul Nugent was assistant city manager, and told them, I said, look, let's do a master plan for downtown. I said, we've never done that before. And Paul said, yeah, you're right. Let's do that. So I went to a couple of meetings of this international downtown, development, group, and I figured out, how you actually did that. So once I figured it out, we invited all these planners to come and everything. They did their presentations. We had people from Greenville, South Carolina, which is a great downtown. Some from there, some from other Winter Park. We looked at kind of the best of each one of them that we kind of liked. And then we had the ones that we got, MIG, out of Berkeley, California. And they were great. And it was just, getting the community together wasn't difficult, but it was, everyone just weighed in. I like this. What would happen if we did this? Let's look at this.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a wonderful process to go through. And so everyone was on the same page, which is, you got to have that, right?
Yeah.
And so we got that done. And then once we got that done, we started having to actually implement it,
Yeah, I remember reading it because it's online. It's available, the Ocala Downtown Master Plan. And I think it was probably 2006 maybe I read it, or 2007, somewhere around there. And I thought, looking at what the downtown area was at that point and the plan for it, I was like, that's very ambitious.
Right.
It seemed just an astronomical goal at that point. But now looking at downtown Ocala and what has been accomplished in that amount of time, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It really is. And if you hadn't had that, meeting of the minds and everybody getting on the same page, I don't think we would be where we're at this point. It just wouldn't be possible. So that's really awesome.
And there's more to come. And you asked what plan for the next 2 years. There's more development that I want to get done, along the boulevard in that area, and residential that we've always envisioned. So that's, one of the things I'm working on. I really want to make sure that that happens. But with the hotel where it is, I mean, at the time the Chamber of Commerce was there, and they had about 5 or 6 employees, and it occupied an entire city block. We use it obviously for parking, but I went to them, each year all the time, and said, want your building. And they said, well, give us another one then, and so that's suitable. So Rick Horst was our city manager at the time, and he was a great city manager because he got us out of the mindset of we didn't really believe in ourselves, I think was the problem. Someone asked me when I was running one year, what do you think Ocala's greatest problem is? And I said that we don't believe in ourselves. We would think, well, we don't believe that Ocala could do something like that. I mean, that's what big cities do. Ocala couldn't do that. I mean, perfect example is that parking crush. We literally, different councils talked about that for over 50 years. 50 years. About should we have a parking garage? Where should it be? no, that won't work, and then when we built it, people said, oh, no one will, what a waste of money, no one will ever park there.
I do, almost weekly, yeah.
Yeah, it's packed on the weekends,
Yeah.
and especially for First Start Walk Friday. So yeah, we do use it, but and Rick would say, what would happen if we did this? Well, we've never done that before. That's not the way we do things here in Ocala.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, have you?
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
well, let's try it and see what happens. Oh my goodness, that's the greatest thing since sliced bread. We should have done that
Years ago.
Years ago. I mean
Yeah.
that citizen circle out there. I mean, we see kids playing that splash pad all
that.
the time.
Oh yeah.
That was $330,000. We were at a strategic planning meeting, and he drew that out on a napkin for me. He goes, Mayor, he said, "Is that mayor then?" I think I was just got elected mayor. He goes, "What do you think about this?" And I said, "Oh, I love it." I said, "Where's that going to be?" He goes, "Right in front of the city hall."
Yeah.
I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, it's just wasted space. We're not using it.
Yeah.
Let's use it."
I bet you there's people out there right this second using it. So
yeah, and we need to have more concerts there, because that was a lot of fun when we had the concerts.
Yes.
And it's built.
Yeah.
That front is for a stage and everything. So, but finally, with back to the Chamber of Commerce, we finally found that building they're in now. We moved people. That was a customer service center, so we moved them out of there, and I think engineering was over there too. They moved them over to the building that we have next door here, which was vastly underutilized. There was plenty of space to move those people out. So we did that. Gave the chamber, I think, $300,000, and off to the races. And then now they're ready to expand.
Yes,
Or
I've heard that.
they may
Yeah.
find another location. They're growing so much.
Yeah. That probably helped with some of that growth, was just getting them in a different environment. Even
Sure, absolutely.
There's changes coming. So
Well, the farmers market,
yeah.
people just enjoy that, and that's doing amazing. So there's just so many things going on downtown. The hospitals, both the hospitals are growing tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a residency program that ORMC has. You've got doctors coming in here from other places, and they're staying now.
Yeah.
They're not leaving after they do the residency.
Yeah.
So I mean, things are really
It's changing.
going well,
Mm-hmm.
here in Ocala, very well.
Yeah, it's really wonderful to see.
Sure.
To see it over the years, it's going to be continuing to be wonderful. I mean, we've obviously raised our kids here, and what we're seeing now, and all of that growth and everything. It's just going to continue to grow, and it's just going to be great for down the road when they're having kids and stuff.
Sure.
What's it going to be like? And it's great. I mean, it really is.
Well, and I have a child, 34-year-old child.
They're so
Such
cute.
he came back home from Tampa, moved, their business is moving up here in August, and getting married and all that. But he said, "Dad, downtown."
Yeah.
So I mean, we've got these young people that grew up here coming back to Ocala, which is wonderful. And I live, in Woodfield's area, so our world is, from 17th Street to the Boulevard and downtown to 25th Avenue. That part of Ocala is not seeing any change. So, but the city that I grew up in, yes, it's changing, and I've accepted the fact that it's not the town it was, in 1962.
No, but I mean, there's so much art, and there's so much more, culture and things that are coming in, and it's just so many free activities for families, and I mean, it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing what's being done.
But it still has that small town feel.
It does.
That's what people love about it. It's a great place to raise a family. I don't have to live in Orlando, Jacksonville, Tampa, those places. I can live here in an hour and a half. I can go to any, I go to NFL game, NBA game. I can do all those things and go fishing on the Gulf and go fishing in the ocean, go to Daytona Beach, St. Augustine, and be back home.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what I say. I go to the beach for the day and then I come home and sleep in my own bed. I have
Right.
If I want to spend a week at the beach, great, I'll go spend it. It's, an hour away. I can, stay at a hotel or whatever. But
Sure.
to be able to go for the day to Disney and museums and all of these crazy, huge things for major cities, it's an hour and a half away.
Right.
And then you get to come home and that was it for the day.
Sure.
I mean, how cool is that? That
Yeah.
is great. We get all of the pluses and none of the minuses.
Well, I will tell you one thing on the question you asked earlier about, what we would like to see, in 2 years, and you just helped me think about it, is we are getting to the point, now, I think, and many people think, because they keep asking me, Mayor, when are we getting commercial air service? When are we getting commercial air service?
Oh, yeah.
And, I think we will. Someone, that's a developer, asked me if we were talking to a certain airline, and I said, I'm not really sure. I said, I talked to them a year and a half ago, and they said they weren't interested at that time, but a lot of things have changed in the past year and a half with WEC coming on board, and that in and of itself is going to change Ocala, Marion County. It's going to change the type of people we attract to Ocala in a good way, and so there'll be a lot of people coming from, especially the Northeast, here, and I would venture to say that we'll probably see some commercial air service here, and hopefully in the not too distant future.
That's awesome.
But actually, one of them called us. We didn't call them. Was it interested in doing it? But financially, it has to work,
Right.
for them. But with the pandemic, the whole industry,
Just
the airline
stopped,
industry just collapsed. So, but I think you'll see it, sometime here.
Wow, we got our control tower or terminal there now, so that definitely helps. If you build it, they will come, and you've built it, so got
Well,
it.
and we had a trade zone, before, and that person went down to the Villages, or the airport in Leesburg. I think we can get that back. That tower took years and years and years to get. But I think we'll do that. Matt Grove's doing an amazing job running the airport. There's a restaurant that'll be finished probably September, October, so you can go out there and have dinner and watch the sunset and watch the planes come and go. And
that'll be cool.
It'll be really, really nice.
Trust me, there will be a YouTube video on it.
Well, and the sunsets out there, if you are just amazing. There's nothing blocking your view, and you just they're pretty amazing. So
cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I don't want to take up too much of your time, so I do appreciate it.
Sure.
I really, really do.
Thank you.
And we will see how things pan out for this city over the next few years,
Right.
and we'll go from there. But I do appreciate it.
You're
really.
welcome. Thank
All
you.
right.